Hey, now it's Brace for Impact, and I'm your host, Mike Gilbert, and I'm joined by author, teacher, coach, mentor, and for some reason, the co-host of this fucking podcast, JD by Gotta Leave It. How you doing, JD?
Got a lot on my plate. I'm not an approved. I am a teacher, but I'm not approved by the board yet, which means I don't know my schedule. I don't know the details. Everything. I can't get into any of the programs I'm training, and I don't know what I'm training. It's been a stressful couple days for the guy changing the careers. Let's just leave it
Yeah,
at that. And I got my
yeah,
Kickstarter closing in 10 hours.
yeah. I was about to say you're kind of a dum dum, and I'll tell you why.
Hell
Uh,
yeah.
so not only did you take this new job, you did it in the middle of this humongous Kickstarter campaign where you're trying to break records. And I think you're doing that, by the way. We're getting
Two.
close, right?
Two away. I'm two away.
2 away. Let's
Scotty
go,
and
baby.
Sam. Scotty and Sam put us
All
within
right.
two. Fight Game Media, baby. So thanks,
Let's go.
guys.
Let's give it up for Scotty and Sam. Let's go. So 2 away from 100, right? That'd be the record for you, right?
10 hours and then we'll be done. That will be the record. The dollar bring in is low, but that wasn't the point of this campaign. The point of this campaign was to break my record for total backers. So I've already
Right.
done that. It was 90. We're at 98. I want a
Ooh,
cool 100, and then people get a free story out of me. So
let's
I
do
ain't
it.
writing
Let's do it.
shit else unless I get those two extra backers,
Let's go. Let's get
man.
2 extra Packers. I'm excited. Hopefully, tomorrow, whenever I do the emergence post show, I'll be able to announce that you had your 2 extra backers. So tell us a little bit about the Kickstarter and about your new book, man. Just go real quick. We'll
Real
get
quick.
into that before we get into the show.
It's very simple. Samurais versus vampires. Yojimbo versus Dracula. A wandering Ronin samurai during the feudal era of Japan is hired by a young girl to take out the dreaded shogun. And then he discovers not only he is a vampire leading a demon horde that rules over Japan. And because it's in Japan, they don't know what vampires are.
Ooh.
So we get to play with the stuff because they don't know they're fighting vampires. I never used the V word in the book. It's a short, down and dirty story. It's only 150 pages, which for a novel is really short. So I call it a novella. So this is
Yeah.
very unlike what I normally write. It's fun. It's not silly, but it's over the top action. If you like From Dusk Till Dawn, Near Dark,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff with some samurai action in there, some Kurosawa films. It's a nice little mishmash of all that stuff. And Kickstarter is going to run for another 10 hours. So if you get up early and listen to this, there's still a good chance to go into Kickstarter and look up Red Sunrise and come join the fun.
Red Sunrise. I know you tweeted it. I tweeted about it, and a lot of our friends have tweeted about it. So let's go ahead and let's back this book. 150 pages. That's Mike Gilbert length. That's like the perfect. If anything more than that, it'll take me about 6 months to read.
It
So
was hard to write, to be honest with you, keeping it short like that, because I'm used to getting sprawling, but the challenge was to just make this short, and it was a challenge.
yeah. And speaking of a challenge, tonight's Impact. I'm just kidding. Actually, other than I would say the opening match, it wasn't even a bad show. But the let's go ahead and go to the BTI pre-show. Steve Macklin took on Crazy Steve, and of course Steve Macklin won, and that was talking BTI. Everybody, thank you for talking BTI with us tonight, folks.
Yay, talking BTI.
Yeah. Steve Macklin got a win, so that's cool.
Yeah,
I'm
about
excited
time.
about that. Yeah, he's heading to Emergence to fight old Sammy Callahan. So good that he got a little bit of a victory before he loses to Sammy. But
Do you know who else is headed to Emergence with two
yeah,
thumbs and a lot on his plate?
yeah. Let's well, we'll save that for the end of the show.
Fair.
We're gonna do we're gonna do the recap, and then we're gonna get into like an Emergence preview, and then we're gonna kick it over to Patreon, and we're gonna talk some news there on patreon.com/fightgamemedia. We got some news to talk about. I got a little debate topic we're going to hit over, so we'll brace for debate tonight. And then, but during the Emergence preview show, I wanted JD to tell us what he's got going on for Emergence, so that should be fun. And what was not fun was this first match, Carl Anderson defeating Kenny King. I don't know if it was just me, dude, but this seemed like the longest match in history. I don't know what it was. Like they didn't have the audience. The crowd was sitting on their hands the entire time. It seemed like they were working kind of hard, but Kenny King's a bit bland to me. He always has been.
Yeah.
And Carl Anderson, it was not Bright Lights Carl, I would say. It just was not a good match. Honestly, they should edit it down to be like less than 5 minutes because they have the power to do that. I just didn't care for this opening match at all.
Me neither. I thought this was a boring match. Like we joke about, what do we call him, bright lights, Carl. When the bright
Yeah.
lights are on, he steps up. This was not that. And Kenny King is okay, I guess. And they just
Yeah.
it wasn't a bad match, but it was a boring match. Like it just, and I jokingly tweeted, "Are we back in the empty arena era?" Because like nobody, it was like a WWE crowd in the middle of Raw when people are like wrestling. Like
Yeah.
nobody reacted to anything until Heath came out, and then they went crazy for Heath, which just
Heath's over, dude.
yeah, I
Like
guess
we keep
whatever.
questioning why they're pushing Heath as a son of a bitch is over.
It's
But
true.
yeah, after the match, so Carl Anderson, let's see, King focused on the left leg of Anderson for the next few moments, but Anderson was able to mount a small comeback before King was on the attack once again. King went to hit the Royal Flush, but failed, and Anderson out of nowhere hit the gun stun for the 1-2-3. Then after the match, King attacked Anderson with a steel chair before he could do too much damage. With Honor No More banned from ringside, Heath flew in and nailed King with the wake up call before making a quick exit. So that's how they're getting Heath over. It's whatever. Hey, look, whatever they're doing, it's working because the guy gets the crowd going every single time.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they like him, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm man enough to acknowledge that not everything is for me.
Oh, I agree.
And it doesn't work for me, but I can't hate on the crowd enjoys him, man. The crowd loves the guy. So
No, it's like I said, like there's large chunks of this promotion that leave me scratching my head, and this was one of them. But at the same time, I don't think Carl Anderson and Kenny King gave them a lot of reason to cheer. Like I know the Machine Gun is capable of better matches, and it wasn't like I said, it wasn't like the effort was bad. It just was kind of there, you know.
yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know. I didn't really care for it at all. Next, we had a video package airing focusing on Alex Shelley's road to his upcoming match for the Impact World Championship tomorrow night at Emergence. Yeah, this is his very first shot at a world title. I thought this was very well done. They're making it seem like this is an important match. I dig what they're doing with Shelley here.
I have issues with this. Let's come back to it.
Okay, so you want to just cover that in the closing segment?
It's gonna
Okay.
culminate in the closing segment, but I want to bring it all together.
Okay. No, I gotcha. Next we go to Kushida with Chris Sabin defeated Doring with or Diener with Joe Doring. Like night and day with this match versus the opening match. I thought this match was actually pretty dang good. Diener is a pretty underrated guy. I know a lot of folks rolled their eyes whenever they saw that Kushida was wrestling Diener because Diener is more of an enhancement talent, but they want to get Kushida with some victories. Maybe they're going to do something where he gets a title shot at somebody. So they got to beat guys. Diener's the guy that you beat, but Diener can actually make you look good while you do it. And I thought this was an effective match to do just that.
No, this felt like an early round J Cup match, right? Like
Yeah.
not like down the road in the like a night one, kind of middle of the card, but not like a bad middle of the card, like J Cup match. That's how I felt about this. And I mean that with all the praise in the world. Like
Yes.
I thought Diener worked a really good match, but you're right. Like we knew Kushida was going to get the win, but the effort was really good. And I thought they did a better job, not a great job, but a better job getting the crowd in. I don't blame them. This crowd seemed really, really flat. I don't know if it's the marathon taping or what, or the fact that it was like 6 people in the crowd. They just weren't reacting to much of anything. It was a weird night, but I like the match a lot, actually. I like this. I like the hammerlock bridging suplex finish. I thought it was a good way to win. Like it was cool. It wasn't the hoverboard lock is good. I liked it.
Yeah, it was good. And they brought in Sabin and Doring on the outside, and at one point Sabin took out Doring, and it looked like when someone does that flip dive off of the apron onto somebody, it always looks like they're like they might as well just be throwing a pillow at them. But Sabin went at Doring
Yes,
hard.
he did.
I thought that was awesome.
The vast majority of dives and flips to the outside suck, with the exception of like Darby Allin's, because he looks like he's trying to die every time he does it. And I thought that Sabin just came off like with that senton like a bat out of hell. It was great. But it's Chris Sabin.
Yeah. Well, I was like, for a second, I was like, man, has Doring got heat? What's going on? He came at him hard. And like, it looked like he legitimately knocked him over. Like,
but you got to. Doring's a big guy. You can't do the pillow stuff to him. It's going to look terrible. It's going to look really bad if he falls down and Sabin just kind of half-ass rolls into him. And Sabin, a veteran, knows better. He trucked Doring as hard as he could, and it looked awesome. This was a good match. The more I think about it, the more I liked it, actually.
I liked everything about the match. I thought it was great, and I think for anybody that rolls their eyes at Diener, you can eat a whole bag of poop, sir. Because I think Diener's a good wrestler, not a big star, but look, he loses. That's what he does, and he's very effective at doing that. So
someone has to. Okay, this is the thing with wrestling fans. It's like, why does this person lose? Someone's got to lose.
Yeah,
your favorites got to lose sometimes. If you got guys that are favorites that aren't main event guys, they're gonna lose matches. And you're going to cry about it. And they're not going to win belts. And it's going to hurt your feelings even more.
Yeah.
But he's really good at it. He's proven his worth to this company time and time again.
Yeah. Well, not only that, he's like a backstage producer.
Mm-hmm.
So he's putting together matches. He's a jack of all trades here. So, excuse me.
No problem.
Good. Yep. Good for him. Then we got the Impact Plus flashback moment of the week. This was Chris Sabin versus Alex Shelley for the X Division title at Teenage Genesis 2009. This is peak Motor City Machine Guns. They had a little bit of a wonky finish with Shelley kind of almost turning heel on Sabin, which I think was a little bit foreshadowed in the main event. The closing segment here. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe they're doing something.
Hold this thought. I will say, I think I had the exact same shoes as Alex Shelley back in 2009. I think I had those exact same wrestling shoes back then. I went, hey, I had those. Hold that thought. This all kind of comes back to my final thought.
So to close the episode tonight, JD's got a whole thing that he wants to go through.
I do.
Yeah, a whole thing about Alex Shelley. Then backstage, we go to digital media champion Brian Myers. He's bragging about his victory last week over Taurus, which they actually, the people he was talking to, because it was a bullshit victory, they were calling him out on it. He had some funny lines. Before being interrupted by Gujar challenged Myers to a match and basically questioned his championship worthiness, and Myers accepted. So they will on the pre-show during Emergence, they will do that match. Finally, they've been building it forever, it seems.
Gujar's not a good promo, right? Like English isn't the first language kind of thing. Like, why are we putting him in this situation to make him to exemplify his weaknesses and protect and hide his strengths? Why do we do this?
Well, it's almost like they have their playbook, right? And they're not altering their playbook for the talent. They want the talent to come in and adapt to them, which they should be adapting more to the talent. They should be hiding his weaknesses, which is obviously promos. And he's pretty green, right? He doesn't quite have it all put together yet. I think the guy's got some talent and he might be something one day. He just ain't there yet. So yeah, I don't know. Like they're putting him in a position to be an actor backstage when really he should be cutting a couple of sentences while they do like a video promo stuff, like what AEW does with their luchadors. They do an effective job, or they do with a lot of their folks, where it's just like one camera, they're just talking into it for a couple of seconds, saying two things with some cool background music, and that's it.
Sometimes we get guys from WWE production who come in and they bring those same philosophies in, and this was very WWE stuff where you put a guy in who's not terribly comfortable saying things and you make him recite the lines that Jimmy Jacobs wrote. And I know this reeked of something that they would do with him. So if I'm wrong, I'll take the L, but I don't think I am. Like, I just don't. I mean, like, we can't push Black Taurus because he doesn't speak English. So we're gonna make a guy who doesn't speak very well read lines. Like, it's just stupid. Like, there's just so many. Like, Brian Myers is a good talker. He can carry this segment. You can be creative about finding a way around it that doesn't make your challenger look bad, right? And make bad television.
Why can't we have managers? What are we doing?
Because
like baby faces.
Because
baby faces can have managers too. I know baby faces can have managers too, guys. By the way, why can't they had the Great Gama in this promotion at one point? He was managing, I guess, his kids in the promotion now. They've had other folks. Why can't we get this kid a manager and give him some help? Bring in a legend or somebody or a retired wrestler and have him do the talking for him and just let him cut 1 to 2 sentence promos.
Like I don't know. I agree. Like it bugs me because this isn't the way the WWE does things, and we get so because this company's got a long track record of trying to do things the way WWE does. And there's a couple things tonight that I felt like were very from the WWE playbook and things that they should not be doing here. And this really stuck out because this did nothing. Again, I was mad last week that we can't push Taurus for this reason. but we're gonna
Yeah.
push Gujar and make him look bad in the process. It was bad booking. Nobody gets protected. The only guy who gets a little bit over is Myers because he can talk.
Mm-hmm. Backstage promo aired featuring all three members of Violent by Design. Eric Young announced that VBD would battle Chris Sabin and Kushida at Emergence. Yes, sir.
Why was this after Diener lost? Wouldn't it make more sense to put this promo before Diener wrestled so we're not trying to look spooky at the guy who already lost a match?
Yeah, I think they just wanted to because they're trying to get to the
No, I
Sabin
get it.
Kushida match. Yeah.
I get it, but why wouldn't it have made more sense to put this promo before Kushida wrestled Diener?
Mhm.
The placement doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Fine.
It probably would have been more. Yeah,
Fine,
it was. It was fine. Yeah.
I've seen Eric Young cut the same promo 8 billion times in the last 2 years.
Yeah. Killer Kelly, she defeated Tiffany Nieves. Is it Nieves or Nieves? I think it's Nieves. And this was a simple squash here. Killer Kelly came out to some cool music, had the red lights, the cool outfit, beat this girl's ass quickly. They dimmed the lights again and do the whole thing. I thought she looked great. She looks like a star. I dig it.
Yeah. Great presentation, great push. She has a fantastic look. Love the way she moves around the ring. Love I think Hannafin compared her to Black Widow. Like, I like that. She actually does a better job portraying the Black Widow comic book character than Scarlett Johansson does in the Marvel movies. For all my comic fans out there, you know what I'm talking about. This is good. I think it was Lucha in the chat was like, I hope that they don't just do the Masha storyline with her or the lack thereof of storyline. You know, I hope we get to see some character building stuff, not just 8 months of squashes. The squashes are fine here and there.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they've slightly progressed with Masha. She's been beating some stronger opponents, but I think Killer Kelly is going to go right to Tasha Steelz soon. They've been building that, so maybe she'll get that victory here pretty quick.
Hope so.
Yeah, me too. A video package aired featuring the ongoing feud between Honor No More and Bullet Club for their upcoming match in Emergence. And then they go backstage to Eddie Edwards. He was giving a pep talk to the members of Honor No More and declared that they would be victorious tomorrow. He was doing his best of Paul Heyman but before the very first pay-per-view. What the hell was the name of that pay-per-view?
Oh God.
What the hell was it? I was just talking November to Remember with somebody, but that wasn't it. It was because it was an April show.
Barely Legal.
It was Taz and Barely Legal, Taz and Sabu. Yeah. This is the dance. Like, he didn't say that, but that's kind of what it reminded me of.
It was one of the greatest promos I've ever heard. It's well documented in the documentary film Beyond the Mat.
Oh yeah.
One of the best
theater.
One of the best pro wrestling one day I got to ask LaRocca what he thought of that, because old Roland doesn't come off very well in that movie. I would love to hear an APW side of that story. I should I should ask that someday. That's a great promo, and it was very much Eddie doing his best Paulie, and it was fine. It was actually my favorite promo of the show.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great. I thought it was strong.
Yeah,
got me a little pumped up for the show tomorrow. So I'm digging it. And then next we go to Mia Yim. She defeats AEW superstar Madison Rayne, who just unfortunately did not defeat Jade Cargill in their epic match on Dynamite from last night.
This was
I think this was a much better match than the Jade Cargill match.
And better. Yeah. I tweeted this out. I said Madison versus Mia Yim better than Madison versus Layla Gray, better than Madison versus Jade.
Yeah,
it wasn't. Madison's not a traditional worker to begin with. She's a personality, right? She's good at getting some, which is why I think she's going to be a value for AEW coaching and doing that stuff. But that match with, Kiera Hogan bumped when a foot went nowhere near her. Like, I was like, geez, this is bad. Like, I don't know what it is about pro wrestling and AEW, women's pro wrestling and AEW, where stuff just doesn't look good. And don't get me, they don't get time. Like, no, like I see women have matches in other countries and other places that look better, but for some reason when it's on Dynamite, it don't look good. I don't know why.
Well, Jade is working once a week. Sometimes not even once a week.
It's not just her though. No, I get it.
I know.
Jade's Goldberg. Like I can accept Jade not being great.
She is, but Goldberg progressed quicker than Jade. Goldberg was working 4 or 5 times a week. with some of the best wrestlers. You know, he was squashing a lot of guys, but then he would do house shows and stuff where he would do longer matches against, you know, super great talented guys like Hugh Morris and William Regal, like these guys.
Yeah,
so
you're right on that. He was getting more work, but I don't know if Goldberg progressed more. Goldberg nearly killed Bret Hart by mistiming a kick. So it's not like Goldberg was a great worker by any stretch.
No, but he was capable of having a really good match. I mean, I always go back to Halloween Havoc 1998 with Diamond Dallas Page.
Diamond Dallas Page carried
incredible. He could be carried to a great match.
Is this a hot take?
He wasn't going to.
Am I going to get in trouble for saying this?
Hold on.
Oh, sorry, Mike. Go ahead. Apologize.
Brace for debate.
That was unexpected.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was not ready for that. There's no female in the AEW locker room that's as good as Diamond Dallas Page in 1998.
No, well, Diamond Dallas Page was super over as a babyface.
But he was also he'd also gotten really good at that point. And it wasn't like he was at that point, like up to like 97, nobody thought Dallas Page was any good whatsoever. And then he got a chance to work with Scott Hall and Randy Savage all over the place, and all of a sudden got awesome. But and this is kind of why I'm like, they need more work, right? The AEW women's locker room, they need more work. But I don't know if we need to see this is going to get me in trouble, and I'll just say it. I don't know if I want to watch it because it's never very good. You know?
Like it, and you know, it's a thing where the stories with the women in that promotion are not very good. They're not being prioritized. Like, and everybody's like, well, why do people say that Impact's women's division is better than AEW's women's division? I'll say, well, look, it's not like they have better wrestlers. I just think that they are made to be a bigger part of the show. AEW has the better wrestlers. They have the deeper roster. They have more talented women, like up and down. I would say the top, you know, Impact has Deonna and Jordan Grace. And I think they can immediately go over to AEW and be top stars there. But everybody else is just kind of like, if they were to go to AEW, they probably wouldn't get TV time. Ty is good, but Ty
is better than just about everyone in the AEW locker room.
Yeah. But I think the reason why people think that it's better is because Impact just focuses on them. They always, like, even if you don't like the stories, there's always a story going on with the women.
I agree with that.
Not only in the main, but in the tag team division, there's always something going on with them. And the Knockouts champion is always being promoted right up there with the world champion. Whenever they're promoting this Emergence pay-per-view, Josh Alexander and Jordan Grace together went and did all the media rounds. And then they sent Jordan Grace back a second time with Moose. And then before then it was always Moose and Mickey James. So like they're always like seen as equals, right? Mm-hmm. And then the women can even main event. So that's why people think that about the Impact women.
It is. And I think Impact has a unique situation too that AEW doesn't have, is that Impact can do whatever they want on their show. Right.
That's true.
We don't
100%.
We don't examine the quarters. We don't examine minute by minutes of Impact. So they can just do what they want. And oftentimes, like I said, that's a problem. Like what we talked about earlier with the Cody Dean, not Cody Dean, I forget. We talked about earlier. Oh yeah, the Bhupinder stuff. They don't have to worry about. And I guarantee that a lot of those knockouts things, the ratings probably aren't as high minute by minute wise than like what Josh is doing and stuff like that. So they have the flexibility. Whereas Tony Khan and AEW, those ratings go down. And you could say it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and I cannot make that argument. I cannot say, no, you're wrong. It is not. They program them and the ratings drop because of, But at the same time, I will say it again. The matches are often average to not great. I enjoy Britt stuff to me. I know that's like a hot take. I enjoy Britt.
I like Britt Baker.
Me too. I like Tony Storm. I like Jamie Hayter. I like Rosa in theory, not always in execution, but like
Ruby Soho's been a letdown to me.
She has been a letdown. People are like, they've done nothing with her. She had an awful finish to a match, and I think she lost a lot of confidence in that. Like that missed detonation kick with Nyla Rose. Say it was in the story, but it looked really bad. And like, I think she really blew an opportunity. Like, I think that it's just not as good. And I think that it actually I think if you had more segments in there, it could actually hurt them rating wise. And that's my JD's being an asshole. I will wear that. I will accept it. But it's such a far cry from their men's division. Whereas Impact, I think when Deanna's not there, when it's not Deanna, when it's not Jordan, it's also a step down. It's also a big step down most weeks, but there's not the scrutiny.
Well, yeah, well, it's because nobody watches.
It's just us. It's
Yeah,
it's, us.
it's just
It's
us.
the Impact
And
faithful.
And when it's bad, we say it's bad. But
We
but
do.
to their credit, even if JD and Mike don't like the stories because they don't appeal to us, the fact is they always got something going on for the
They do.
women in this promotion. There's always something going on with them.
They do. And again,
Um,
that's good. And it's also, but I see both sides of the argument. So I don't know. I don't know how to fix any of these situations. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to the match. So with both ladies back on their feet, Yim nailed a Pele kick. JD's going to get us canceled before finally saying good night to Rayne and landed the eat defeat for the victory going into her championship match against Jordan Grace tomorrow night. I got to say, I'm looking forward to Jordan and Mia. I think that's going to be a hell of a match.
Who's the heel?
It's babyface.
Oh, okay. Baby. Okay.
Just, babyface. Don't need a heel. Just which same with the main event. Probably not. I mean, look, nobody's gonna buy this fucking thing, right? Like nobody. And I do have some inside knowledge about some of the ticket sales that are going on, so I was able to get some numbers. But
Patreon.
Oh, it definitely for Patreon. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, backstage, VXT won't be calling them Vexed, although they do have a T-shirt now. Bragged that they were going to party like it was 1999. So they would have been toddlers back then, I would think.
As a man who was in college in 1999, it made me feel remarkably old at that moment.
Hey, so in 1999, I would have been 16 or 17, I turned, what year was I born? 83. So what's that? 16.
I was 19.
I was 16 in 1999. I just remember going into Y2K, the New Year's Eve, getting into a big fight with my parents because I wanted to go celebrate New Year's Eve in the booming town of Springfield, Missouri. All of 200,000 people in that town. I wanted to go out and go see what was going down, see all the chaos, but they were worried that the world was coming to an end, so they wouldn't let me go.
I was in college in my apartment, and we all went 3, 2, 1, collective beat. Happy New Year! Everybody waited just a second, just like okay, it was fun.
I was like, well, you know what? It's still not midnight on the West Coast. Maybe that's when the world's going to end. But nothing happened.
Yeah, they were these women were children.
Yeah. Promo aired for Bound for Glory taking place in Albany, New York on October 7th. There you go. Backstage, Jordan Grace confronted Mia after Grace insulted Yem. Mia fired back and left the current Knockouts champion frustrated. He didn't really go into detail about it was not really much of an insult. She just asked Mia Yem, hey, are you going to be good to go for tomorrow night? And Mia said, yeah. And Grace basically said, well, you also said that the last 2 tag matches we had and we lost. And Mia correctly said, well, it takes 2 to lose a tag match, lady. And that was the whole thing. So Mia, no real heat here, but babyface got a little bit of a rivalry going.
It was okay.
Yeah. It was short.
Match?
At least it's pretty.
Fun?
I thought the Madison and Mia Yim was a good match. Mike Bailey in, I would say, the match of the night. And if Dave Meltzer watches it, it might be the match of the week. I don't know. It's going to be hard to beat a couple of bloodbaths from Dynamite, but I thought this match was incredible.
It was good.
It was very good. Rocky Romero turned back the clock. He looked great. He had no business being in the fucking match because he hasn't won a match in Impact in over 15 years.
Mike,
he loses.
He hasn't won anywhere. Rocky loses everywhere. Rocky loses in New Japan. He loses in AEW. He loses in MLW. Rocky doesn't win. I can't remember the last time Rocky won a match.
Yeah, and and I know he's a babyface, but they really missed an opportunity to tell the story because they hinted at it that he was Matthew Raywalt's boss in New Japan, right? They kind of made a joke about that. They could have said, well, Rocky's leveraging his position in New Japan to get himself a title shot. That's an easy story to tell. I know he's a babyface, but they still could have used that. Be like, hey, look, he doesn't deserve the match. He never freaking wins. It's about as egregious as Takeshita getting a Ring of Honor title shot. Makes no sense because all they do is lose, but here he is getting a title shot. But I got to say, that business aside, the match was awesome. Match of the night by far.
This is what I've been saying week after week after week. We have good wrestling, so we forgive things. That is a very easy story to tell. But I feel like not just here, I feel like it's everywhere. We're being lazy with storytelling. Lazy. And especially when we have just baby faces. We just have baby faces wrestling baby faces for no reason, for the thrill of competition. When that happens once in a while, I'm fine with it. But it's all the time, it's a little much. And it is all the time, everywhere. No reason for things. Why is Rocky getting a touchdown? Well, he's from New Japan. Oh, okay. Like, I mean, Chris Jericho, I get. Takeshita, okay, he's over. People love him, but he's
Right.
like, I mean, like, I can't think of a guy who's lost that many matches and been given so many high-profile matches.
Right. Statistically, he had no business being in the match. It's so like Takeshita or Romero. Yeah.
Statistically, Takeshita should be booted out of the country. He keeps losing. His weak Riza cannot be good if this was a
Right.
shoot.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Romero won a tournament in Rio de Janeiro that we didn't hear about. Maybe.
At least they would lie to us back then.
Wrestling was so much better when they could just lie to us, I think.
And people
But
just
now
believe the lie, and nobody like, oh yeah, they're lying, but we'll
No,
accept it.
yeah.
They're trying.
Yeah, but again, great match. I think everybody should go out of the
Good
way
match.
to watch it.
Good match.
And then Bailey is going to face Jack Evans tomorrow night. So who also doesn't deserve a title match.
He hasn't been in the company. Again, who's the heel in that? I don't know. Jack could be the heel. He hasn't been in the company. I have no idea what he's going to do.
I don't think Jack's a babyface or a heel. He's a guy who does a couple flips, and that's about it. I don't know. I've never cared for Jack, but we'll get into that in our preview. How about that? We'll talk about old Jack Evans. All right, so we got our main event. It's the Impact World Championship contract signing for Emergence. Josh Alexander. So Coach D'Amore introduced Alex Shelley, followed by World Champion Alexander. D'Amore welcomed both men to the ring and let them have the floor. Alexander praised. He also put himself over as being kind of their coach and mentor. So Scott D'Amore did not miss that opportunity to put himself over.
Old school.
But Alexander told a story about seeing Shelley at a show in 2005, and that's when he wanted to become a wrestler. He stated that in 17 years, he's never faced Shelley, but that he's faced hundreds of Shelley copycats, and that he's honored to be facing Shelley tomorrow night at Emergence with the world title on the line. Shelley stated that he respected Alexander, but questioned why Alexander's better than any of the copycats. Alexander took offense and said that he was more of a Chris Sabin guy, which made me laugh, and reminded Shelley that both him and Sabin had what it take to win the world title, and that basically Shelley doesn't. Alexander stated that Shelley needed to be better than his best tomorrow night, as he has never been good enough to be the world champion. Shelley stated that he's had zero opportunities to win the title before praising the passion Sabin has for the business, and then kind of went and said, I have lost my passion several times. It's kind of waned, but here I am. I'm getting this title shot. And said, basically told Alexander, he said, Shelley followed up by pointing out all of Alexander's injuries. It sounded kind of cool the way he was describing it, because you could tell that Alex Shelley is a medical guy. He's a physical therapist by trade.
Was cool.
And then stated that he's going back to 2005 to turn Alexander back into an Alex Shelley mark. Shelley signed the contract, looked at Alexander, and said, there's your Alex Shelley autograph, Josh, before leaving the green, completely punking out the world champion, turning his back on him, and leaving. I think I know where you're going with this. JD, the floor is yours, sir.
Who's the heel?
It kind of seemed like Shelley was becoming the heel, but then he ended up punking out Josh, and Josh kind of looked like a little bitch.
Josh did look like, okay, here's the thing. This was a written segment, right? They wrote this because that was a great beat to end on, right? Here's your Alex Shelley autograph. Great line. I was like, oh, bravo, fantastic. So that's how you know the whole thing was that Alex Shelley did not think that up on the spot. So here's my issue with all this. In our flashback, what did we see? We saw Alex Shelley suckering his best friend, who we also had a long feud with before they became a tag team. That did not, I thought they should have played that up, but they did not. We saw him suckering him for the X Division title. He tricked Chris Sabin. So it seemed to me, narratively speaking, that we're setting up that Alex Shelley will do anything it takes to win a big match, especially for a championship. That is not the story we told during the contract signing, right? Josh was being a dick at first, right? But it was like a very WWE contract signing. I'm going to say my zinger, then you're going to say your zinger. Then I'm going to counter your zinger. And then you're going to put your last one in and put me in my place. That's beat for beat every contract signing that doesn't end with a power bomb through a table. And oftentimes it will go that way until the power bomb to the table. I couldn't figure, again, we have baby faces versus baby faces. You have to create some type of a conflict here, right? But Josh is our lead baby face, and he got punked. He started being a dick, and then got punked out. And it was like, oh, he's a good promo. I'm like, that's not a good promo. Like I don't think he as a like, I did not leave that contract signing being like, man, I cannot wait to see Josh defend the title. You left that seeing, oh, Alex Shelley. That segment was about Alex Shelley, and nobody
Yeah.
got anywhere. Like, it wasn't about anything. And this is what I'm talking about. There's no storytelling. I felt like they were intentionally pushing us into one direction with the flashback, and then we get to the actual contract signing, and there's nothing about that. Alex Shelley should have been like, I'll do anything it takes to win that title, and steered into the heel a little bit. It doesn't have to be a heel, but if one of them was going to steer that way, Josh should be Sting, right?
Mhm.
Josh should be our good guy, because that's what he is. And then Shelley should be the one who'd be a little sneaky, because as we saw when he was at the height of the Motor City Machine Guns, he could be a little sneaky. He is a Kevin Nash protege.
Yeah.
Right? And we didn't see that at all. And it seemed like they were telling, like, it seemed like they wrote that segment without knowing they were going to put that flashback in the show. And I thought that the two worked against each other and hurt each other. Because again, we're going into this match that we know Josh ain't going to lose. And he looks kind of stupid going into it. And I don't think it was good. I don't think it was good at all.
I thought Josh started out. So saying someone's a good promo is different than someone that can deliver their lines well. And
Agreed.
I thought that he delivered his lines well
agreed.
Early in the thing. But Alex Shelley came across like the bigger star to me when this whole thing was over. And I think they were trying to make it, because most people don't feel like Alex even belongs in the main event. He's not really a contracted guy, didn't have a ton of wins. He's more of a tag team guy anyway. He's never really been seen as a world champion contender. And so they were trying to make the audience believe it. Well, I think they made it like he overshadowed Josh in the segment, and Josh is the world champion. Shelley came across like the cooler guy. Like I kind of identify with Shelley after the segment more than I identify with Josh. I kind of want to see Shelley win the thing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Here's the thing: is you could sort of say Josh doesn't have, or Shelley doesn't have the credentials to be in this match. She's been on television for 15 years and knows how to make this is the thing about the value of being. I think a lot of people talk about this. They talk about matches and how good matches are. As I say, week after week on this show, we watch good matches every week. I can't tell you what the awesome matches were last week, because we see them all the time. Knowing how to hold yourself on television is important. And I say, Alex Shelley was a student of Kevin Nash, one of the smartest guys in the business. And if there's anybody that would know how to take a segment and make it all about himself, it was Kevin Nash. And that's exactly what Alex Shelley did tonight. He completely big dog Josh Alexander. And that's what they wrote it to be that way, is the funny part.
Well, and they recorded it a month ago and they still aired it.
This is my frustrations with Impact. It's like, there's no way they could sit there in the editing bay and go, oh yeah, this is what we wanted. I get frustrated so much. I'm like, why? What are we doing? Josh is our champ, and he comes off looking like, the subpar champion. Kind of like people I see us talk about Hangman Page. Like, when he was the champion, he just, and it's true. When he was the champion, he never came off as the guy.
Right. And I was thinking about this the other day, because I was thinking about like the comparison to Josh to Hangman, and there was another comparison because you had the long story, right, of him chasing the title. You had the chase, which was big, and he was very good and very effective in the chase. Moose was a great heel. They told that story beautifully, but once that story is over, then you got to carry the title, and you gotta get those next feuds going. And he wasn't able to do that. Same thing happened to Hangman. Hangman was going opponent after opponent. And then the same thing happened to Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan in WWE, where they did that long chase to WrestleMania 30, and he finally won the big one. And then there was a big drop off after WrestleMania with his popularity because the story was over.
Do you know who else that happened with? Sting.
Yes. Yep.
I keep comparing Josh.
100%.
I keep comparing Josh to Sting. This is exactly what happened to Sting. And this is like the differences between WWE booking and NWA booking. I'm gonna break this down real quick. In NWA, the champion was always a heel. So you had these big, and this goes back decades, right? Like Eddie Graham book like this. Like, this is just like how it was. Your champ was a heel because you wanted to see the baby face get his revenge. That's the story. And when the babyface gets his revenge, where do you go from there? right? Whereas in the WWE, what was and I'm watching this for a project right now. Do you know what the buildup for Hulk Hogan winning his first title was?
Oh, he just showed up and knocked out
No,
the Sheik. He was a couple weeks before then, but
I just watched this week.
okay.
Backlund's announced for the match. It's
Yes.
gonna be Backlund Sheik rematch, and they put Backlund on TV, and Backlund has to say, "I can't go, my shoulders hurt."
Yep.
And then now they would do this big, but then at the time it goes, and then at Oakland go, "We have to figure out who's gonna take his place. It's gonna be this man, Hulk Hogan." And then Hogan comes out, cuts his promo. They sold out Madison Square Garden on a promo from Hulk Hogan. Hogan goes out, thrashes the Sheik, has the belt for 4 years. It was not about the build up to him winning the title. They put the title on him as soon as possible, and then the story started. It's a complete different booking philosophy. When you're booking with the heel champ, when the babyface wins, that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And it constantly happens. And I think the same thing with Hangman Page, right? It was about him trying to get to Kenny Omega. I don't have it. I got it. Everybody's happy. And then what?
Yep. Yeah,
That's
absolutely. And
it happens
and
over
Hangman,
and over.
when Hangman gets his second title, I think he's going to be a bigger star. After he gets a second title, maybe does a heel turn, but does something like that. Bret Hart kind of won it out of nowhere in 1992, but he didn't really become the superstar until he won it again in like 94, right?
Yeah.
He was a good babyface, always in the middle, kind of towards the top of the card, but it wasn't until he beat Yokozuna in WrestleMania 10 whenever he really got to superstardom. I think Josh needs to drop the title at some point this year. It's not going to be tomorrow, and I don't think that he's going to lose it at Bound for Glory, but maybe in that November, December pay-per-views that we got coming up, maybe he drops it then, and then they go for a new story or something like that, because there really has been a storytelling drop-off since Rebellion, all up and down the card.
I agree with that. And again, it's everywhere too. Like, it's funny, when Bret was the champion the first time, he, much like Hangman Page, was not the focus of the company. Do you remember late 92 when Bret wins? The focus of the company is Ric Flair versus Randy Savage.
And Ultimate Warrior was in on that
Ultimate
too.
Warrior's in it, then he leaves and they work perfect in. But I mean, like, it's basically been the Flair Savage feud that drew everywhere, by the way. That started earlier in the year. Like, so Bret was also playing. Like, it's very similar to him. I think you're right. And Sting was the same way. Sting was lost in that, and I'll go on forever about the Black Scorpion angle. When I can talk about it for hours. When Flair and Anderson are working this super racist angle with Doom, that's getting a lot of attention, right? It's hard to be the guy when the other guy, the old guy, is still there. And I think we got a little bit of that with Josh, but I mean, at the same time, I don't know if we've got, like, I do think we should, I think the time to put it on Eddie was earlier when I Don't Know More was hot. I think we missed I think we missed the chance with him. And I don't know if we wanted to go with a super hot heel as the champ for a minute. I don't know who that is right now.
I don't either, man. But hey, we're going to go into our Emergence preview. It's going to be Emergence coming to you live from Cicero Stadium in beautiful Chicago, Illinois.
It's in Cicero, Illinois. It's not in Chicago.
Sorry. It's Chicago adjacent.
It is Chicago adjacent.
Yeah. So JD, what would you like to talk about with the Emergence? What are you going to be doing during the show?
I'm going to be going as a member of the press, as a member of the Fight Game Media family. Thanks, Ross. Ross Foreman's a wonderful human being. We never speak ill of him.
I think he does a great job there promoting the shows. I think he's wonderful.
Great person.
Yeah.
I've being taken care of by the good people at Impact. I have no idea where I'm sitting, but I'm going to try to bring the little guy out to the Impact show. We'll see if Mom will let it go. But yeah, I'm very excited to go. I'm looking forward to it. Last time I went to the stadium was back in 2019 to watch MLW's Super Fight Night or something like that. I forget the first and only pay-per-view they've done.
And that was LA Park, right?
LA Park versus Fatu. It was good.
Yeah, Fatu.
Scary.
Yeah,
it was scary.
Yeah. No, Fatu had a lot of heat back then, man.
He did. Man, I'll say this: Joseph Samael in this era,
dude,
could draw heat.
That I was, you know what? When we're talking about managers, like Impact needs to bring that dude in. He's incredible.
Yes.
I don't know why he's not on TV. Maybe he's a dick, or maybe there's something going on with him.
I don't know.
But
you know he's the Sheik's nephew, right? Legit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he is. No, it's like no wonder this man knows how to draw heat. But that when that Contra angle first started, it was really good. The problem with it is they
Yeah.
just like everything, they drag it to death. But I mean, like
They
this dude would get like in the year of our Lord 2019 was getting legitimate heat. Like people wanted to kill him. Like
yeah, he
that
did
is
great.
why doesn't Impact sign that guy? That's a great question.
Yeah, they should sign that guy. He's awesome.
Yeah.
On the Countdown pre-show, speaking of needing a manager, Bhupinder Gujjar will challenge Brian Myers for the Impact Digital Media Championship. Who do you got in this one, JD?
Brian Myers.
My answer is who gives a shit. All right. Impact Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champions Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary defend against Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo. I'm shocked that this is on the pre-show. Honestly, I didn't see this being a pre-show match, considering that whole thing that we had earlier about the focus on the women. They're on the pre-show, but is what it is. What are we thinking here, man? I haven't. I think VXT takes it here. I think that we got new tag champs.
I agree. We're gonna call him VXT.
They're calling them Vexed on Impact, but I refuse.
Okay. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I know they said it, but it didn't register to me. And VXT just is too much like NXT, which I think is why you're doing it. Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna win.
Yeah, I think they're gonna win. I know that Taya and Rosemary just got the belts, but I think they got something with Green and Purrazzo. I think they have good chemistry. And so does Taya and Rosemary, by the way. But I just think there's something special about Green and Purrazzo. I think they really gel well together, and they could beat this tag division. Yeah,
I agree.
To the main show, Violent by Design versus Chris Sabin and Kushida.
It's gonna be the Motor Splitters.
The Motor Splitters. I agree. I think when Kushida loses, it'll be against one of the champions. Sammy Callahan. I can't pick this one. Sammy Callahan versus Steve Macklin. What are we thinking?
It's gonna be Sammy Callahan.
All right, I'll embrace debate. I'll go Macklin. Sammy Callahan loses all the time.
You're right. So does Macklin.
Yeah, it's true. AAA Showcase, Bandito making his Impact debut versus Rey Horus, which should be incredible. I'm sure these guys have wrestled 1,000 times. Bandito is who I'm going with, but what you thinking?
If this crowd is the same makeup as the MLW crowd, oh my God, is this going to be great? Cicero is a heavily Latin American population, and boy, do they love their lucha. This could be awesome in this stadium. And it's Bandito, man. He is going to wow Impact before he does nothing in this company. So I mean, it's going to be great.
Yeah, you know what? And he actually has a big match on the tapings the night afterwards, by the way. I'm going to look it up. I will try to find it. Let me see here. But I know he's in a 6-way match with basically all the top stars. Yeah, here it is. So on Second City Slam, which is the night afterwards. What is Eagles boss? What the hell? Okay. He is it's going to be Eddie Edwards versus Steve Macklin versus Moose versus Witch Swan versus Bandito versus Callahan, and on the night afterwards. So we're talking Saturday night, Second City Slam, which will be the Impact tapings. So that should be a tremendous match. But I did want to get that plug in there. It sounds like a number one contender match.
That is the most Impact match I've ever heard in my life. Six-way number one contender match.
They didn't announce it as a number one contenders match, but I follow Impact closely enough. It's a number one contenders match.
Hot take: Bandito should be the champion in 3 months.
He
won't be. He should be.
Right. I was about to say reasonable take. I don't even think he'll be in the company in 3 months. But
yeah, you're probably right, because they'll decide, well, this guy can't cut a promo. Like, he's a real life superhero trying to get people vaccinated in Mexico. Like, he's one of the most wonderful human beings in the world in professional wrestling. Everybody loves Bandito. He stole the show at All In 4 years ago. Like,
he stole the show at Ric Flair's last match.
Yeah. Every time you put Bandito on the card, he's all people talk about when it's done. So, he'll be doing jobs to Brian Myers in 3 months for the digital media title.
If he's in the company, yeah.
Because Jimmy Jacobs will decide he can't cut a promo.
Yeah. Bullet Club, Austin Bay, Hikuleo, Gallows, and Anderson versus Honor No More. If Bullet Club wins, Honor No More will disband. But if Honor No More wins, OGK gets a tag team title shot. I have a hard time calling this one. I gotta go with Honor No More, especially if we're going towards Eddie Edwards getting the title shot at Bound for Glory. That's what makes the most sense.
It does. But I really feel like the stable is kind of dead. Like, I feel like they should have done this match like 6 months ago. I really do. Like,
yeah,
it just Eddie. I feel like we're just behind on all this. Like, Eddie should be in this spot a long time ago. the OGK should be in this spot a while ago. Like, I could see either way working. Honor No More should win.
Yeah.
But I don't think they need to be a stable anymore because I don't think it's that great of a stable. Like, I just don't think they all work that well together, especially now that Ring of Honor's got like 8 belts on the other show. So, I mean, like, it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Well, and especially because, Vincent was just on the Ring of Honor show as a member of the Ring of Honor roster. Yeah. So, makes no sense to even call them Honor No More. So Impact X Division champion Mike Bailey is scheduled to beat Jack Evans. He's coming off the street here. Hopefully he makes it on time and is awake.
Hey, real quick, we did it.
Yeah,
100
what did
backers.
We do? Oh, hold on, 100 backers. Let's go,
Kevin Ely. Kevin Ely hit it to
Kevin.
99. Our boy from the Boom.
Yeah, the Boom. Listen to the Boom on Fight Game Media Network. Comes out every Monday. Kevin Ely and my buddy, the Peppermint Fatty himself, James McDaniel. Listen to that show. Thank you, Kevin Ely, for supporting our guy and supporting a fellow member of the Fight Game Media family. That's awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Let's do it. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't care about Jack Evans. I know that he's probably gonna do something crazy though, so that's cool.
He might die.
Yeah. That's the appeal.
There's nothing cool to jump off of in that place though. So he might have to go up a truss or something like that. There are a lot of people that are really upset when he got released from AEW, and I'm kind of like, we got 5 other guys like him. Like,
yeah, well, and every time I saw him on TV, he just seemed like he'd rather be doing something else.
And he told you that. He told you that. He's like, I got fired. I didn't try very hard. And it's like people want to be mad at the billionaire, but he's like, I was pretty lazy when I got a contract.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Jack Evans, but I'd rather see Bandito versus Speedball or Ray Horus. Ray Horus, I mean, and Jack Evans is fine, but Speedball's on a tear right now. One of the best wrestlers on the planet, in the running for Wrestler of the Year. He's going to win.
Yeah. Jordan Grace versus Mia Yim. This one's actually very interesting because, Mia is the shiny new toy for Scott D'Amore. She's got the WWE cred coming off of their TV. She's here, but Jordan Grace is tremendous, looks tremendous, she carries herself like a big star. I think that Jordan Grace should hold the title for 2 years. But what are you thinking?
My head says Jordan Grace retains because I do feel like we're pushing her right now, right? And could get ugly backstage if she doesn't. But I wouldn't be surprised if they went Mia Yim because they will have. We just came off a really long reign for the Knockouts title. It would not surprise me if we kind of hot shotted it a little bit around. Head says Jordan, but I can be talked into Mia.
Yeah, if you're asking what Mike Gilbert would book, it's Jordan Grace all day. Mia Yim's on a short-term deal, which has never stopped Impact before, but Mia Yim's only got a 6-month contract. Triple H likes his NXT people. He's probably already in her ear about coming back. I'm sticking with Jordan Grace on this one. I think she should. Not only will she win, she should win.
It's only a matter of time before No Way Jose is back on the main roster.
And in the main event, we got Impact World Champion Josh Alexander defending against Alex Shelley. Obviously Josh Alexander is probably gonna get the W here, but I'm thinking this is gonna be a really good match, man. Alex Shelley is tremendous, and so is Josh Alexander.
Yeah, the match is everything I complained about, right, is going to be forgotten about by the time the match is over. It's going to be a really good match. It's just it's my complaint with all of wrestling right now. I don't mind where we're going. I don't mind the destinations. I just wish we could get there better. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. Hey, everybody, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify or here on YouTube, I want you to check us out on Fight Game Media Plus. Head to patreon.com/Fight Game Media, where we will be talking some breaking news. We got a tour schedule coming out. I got some info about Emergence and some other stuff happening, and some folks that we thought maybe would be coming into Impact, obviously not coming in right now with the new regime up in Stamford, Connecticut. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we got Brace Debate. We got another debate topic this week that we're going to go over. So check us out over on Fight Game Media, Fight Game Media Plus, patreon.com/Fight Game Media. JD, you want to give one more push?
The Red Sunrise Kickstarter. We're still got 10 more hours as of right now. So if you're waking up in the morning, you probably got a few more hours to kick in. It'll end at 10 a.m. Central Time. So that's 11 a.m. on the East Coast, 8 a.m. on the West Coast, the middle of the night for Mike. So yeah, come in. Samurais, vampires, lots of blood, lots of gore, lots of Eastern philosophy, lots of good characters. It's going to be a good short story. I'm very proud of it. Give it a read.
Let's go, everybody.
Kickstarter, Red Sunrise.
Kickstarter Red Sunrise, or follow JD on his Twitter at JDO_Oliva. And we will see you next week. And Patreon, stick around.